Hello, welcome back again. We are doing day 8 today. And so we begin 8th day. Duration of the pains of purgatory. First point, what is the duration? Second point, what are the causes? First point, though the church has not defined anything as to the duration of the pains of purgatory, yet the fact of allowing anniversaries to be kept and masses to be said in perpetuity for the repose of the souls of the dead shows what is her belief regarding it. She thinks, then, that expiation must be long and may even be prolonged through centuries. The same is the opinion of the fathers of the church. St. Augustine asked for prayers for his mother, St. Monica, after she had been dead more than 20 years. And St. Ambrose promised publicly to pray all his life for the soul of the Emperor Theodosius the Great. Cardinal Bellarmine says that, according to trustworthy revelations, the pains of purgatory in regard to certain souls might last till the day of judgment, if the church did not come to their assistance. From this, it will appear that there are poor souls who have been suffering during long years. Who can tell us the length of time and the amount of suffering that is requisite to expiate one venial sin, or to cleanse the rust left by mortal sin on the soul, and restore it to the brilliant beauty of the angels? Oh, unfathomable mystery of the judgments of God! It is well known that length of time adds much to the severity of suffering. To suffer terribly and for a long time, to wait and wait for the end, to have to wait an indefinite time. Oh, what a painful martyrdom must not this be to these poor souls! Added to this, the intensity of the sufferings they endure makes moments appear like months and months like ages. Oh, how incomprehensible are these tortures of lengthened hours and ages! Shorten, O Lord, these agonies, put an end to the intensity and duration of the sufferings of our friends and relatives, especially of those who would otherwise have to remain the longest in this place of expiation. Second point, we must not be surprised at the terrible duration of the torments of purgatory. A very holy nun of the Order of the Visitation, Sister Mary Denis, who was well known to have been favored with extraordinary graces for the relief of departed souls, said that there were many causes why the long duration of suffering in purgatory was inevitable. First, the inconceivable purity which is required of a soul before it can possess God. Secondly, the innumerable multitude of venial sins. Thirdly, the little penance that is done for mortal sins that have been confessed. Fourthly, the absolute incapability of the souls of the deceased to do anything for their own relief. And fifthly, the forgetfulness that exists for the dead, and the culpable negligence in obtaining relief for them. All this is unfortunately but too true. In future, we must be careful to avoid a very common fault, and that is to regard those we love, who die, as being already saints. So consoling is it to believe them in a place of peace and happiness, that we try to convince ourselves they are already there, and then we cease to weep and pray for them. The saints acted very differently. All their lives they prayed for those that death had taken from them, and even when dying, they with tears entreated prayers for them. Let us do in like manner. We who cannot hold a finger in the fire for the space of a minute without crying out with pain. How is it that we can allow the souls of those we loved so much to remain, through our negligence, for the space of many years, in the devouring flames of purgatory? No, loved souls, we will not be so cruel. We at least will never forget you. Example. The simple narration of the following historical event speaks more eloquently than the longest discourse. A man who, for 5 years, had been confined in a well-known prison, worn out by suffering, conceived at length a project for his deliverance. At that time, a woman had great power, and her influence was so great that she was able to break the prisoner's chains and bring his sufferings to an end. History relates that the petition he addressed to her was couched in these words: Madame, the 25th of this month, 1760, I shall have been suffering 100,000 hours, and there yet remains 200,000 hours more suffering before my sentence ends. Oh, madam, let your heart be moved by such a long and painful martyrdom. I know not if this woman was hard-hearted enough to resist such an eloquent appeal, but it would seem impossible to express more in so few words. I have been suffering 100,000 hours, and there remains yet 200,000 more to suffer. There are 200,000 more. He had then counted the hours. Yes, as we would count one by one the strokes of a clock's pendulum during a long night, when pain and suffering prevented sleep. And thus it is that the poor souls in purgatory calculate the duration of their sufferings, but not by hours or by days do they count. It is by years, and these years appear to them as ages. O justice of God, how terrible art thou, O poor souls who have suffered so long, how I pity you. Prayer. Struck with terror at the thoughts of the severity of thy judgments and the length and intensity of the sufferings which thy justice inflicts on the poor souls in purgatory, I kneel at thy feet, great God, and full of compassion for the unfortunate prisoners, I implore thee, in the name of Jesus Christ, to cast on them a look of mercy and put an end to their sufferings. O Mary, comforter of the afflicted, be merciful to them and deliver thy children from captivity. May they rest in peace near to thee in heaven. Requiescat in pace. And this is the end of day 8. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.